And then we're going to open up Reese talking about using ML and how they solved a problem for a major water company around absence caused by COVID. These are people that have to keep these pipes running. So a really interesting project. They're going to share behind the scenes what they went on to de-risk that. So that'll be later on. We'll create a breakout room for that. In the meantime, we're going to have our first speaker, who's I'm about to line up and give sharing rights to. That is the incredible Melissa Sassi, who the chief penguin from IBM Hyper Protect Accelerator and the CEO and founder of Mentor Nations. It is unbelievable that Melissa's come to talk to us from over the seas. And she's going to kick us off tonight. She's going to be sharing the stage with a couple of other speakers that I'll ask her to introduce during the session. She's startup program manager at IBM. She's all about empowering early stage entrepreneurs with technology, business acceleration, cloud credits from IBM. She's division head for Call to Code. That's an initiative aimed at preparing for and responding to disaster scenarios with technical innovation. She's chair of the IEEE Digital Skills Working Group. She's on the steering committee of the Coalition for Digital Intelligence for the World Economic Forum, OECD. I mentioned IEEE, the DQ initiative. She's CEO of Mentor Nations, a group-led digital skills movement, inspiring the lives of the underserved via access, skills, utilization of technology. She's got 2 master's degrees, supply chain and finance. She's on her way to getting her PhD, focusing on digital inclusion of the unserved communities. Makes me wonder what I've been doing in my life, to be honest, when I read that.
I know, right? Every time I hear somebody go through my bio, I'm like, wow, how did this how did this girl from a small town in Missouri, the center of the U.S., who was never talked to about college? My parents didn't go to college, and I think for many many of my studying years, they thought it was a big boondoggle and a big party, which it was not. Let me tell you. All right, cool. So I'm going to quickly just do an introduction of, kind of me in my words, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my work, some of our work, and then I am going to bring a couple of my colleagues and friends onto the virtual stage, so we can talk about a few different programs where we partner together. So, as he mentioned, I run a startup program at IBM, and my entire job at IBM is all about empowering youth, empowering the world, empowering early stage entrepreneurs with access to technology. And that's not just saying, let me give you some cloud credits, good luck, go have a good time. It is, how do you empower people with real meaningful skills to make meaningful use of the internet, to make meaningful use of the technology in front of you, whether that's learning to code, learning data science, and doing something with it. Again, not everybody should be a engineer. Not everyone should be a data scientist. But I think it's important, especially for young people, to understand what career opportunities are in front of them. And what are, the skills that a data scientist needs, for example. So a lot of the talks that I do, sometimes they're with women and girls or just different people from all over the world. If you do want to become a data scientist, what does that look like? What are the skills? And we often see a lot of, infographics that flow around Twitter or flow around, LinkedIn about what those skills are. And I find that a lot of those depictions, and they often get a lot of shares, and they don't necessarily take into consideration the importance of problem solving and business acumen and understanding, why are you doing what you're doing, and critical thinking, presentation and storytelling skills. So it's not just about how do you create this amazing data model, this amazing predictive model that's going to, help you with, patient experience, for example, in the health tech space. But how can you really be a problem solver? Because in my mind, a data scientist and an engineer is all about problem solving and critically thinking. and creating solutions that are needed in the world, whether that's to solve a big, wicked world problem, something like you would see captured in the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or something else. My outside work outside of IBM is centered around empowering youth. As Richard mentioned, we've got an IoT lab, a robotics lab, and a coding lab in North Africa in Tunisia. And it's all youth-led and youth-run, where we've, as he mentioned, taught tens of thousands of young people about digital skills. So that means I've run countless hackathons. I actually have the career I have today because I participated in a Microsoft employee hackathon. And I identified a challenge at Microsoft when I was there. And I pulled a team together that ended up growing to be, 50, 60 people from around the world. And we were looking at how do we put devices into the hands of underserved communities so that Microsoft could truly live its mission of empowering every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more. Without access to a device, without access to the internet, and without access to the skills, how can you make meaningful use of the technology in front of you? I ended up winning first place in the Inspired Me category out of 4,000 teams worldwide. I ended up being able to pitch to Satya Nadella. So I'll put my Twitter handle in here, but it's my background photo is me pitching to Satya, which is, and he's listening, and I didn't get fired. It was great. We ended up rolling out my idea, worldwide, and that program is now in place and managed by Microsoft's philanthropy team. And so I feel very proud, when I look at, the power that even participating in a hackathon and what that can do to create a new opportunity for, a young person or even a seasoned professional. For me, it gave me a new career path, and it made me realize that I want to incorporate this concept of doing well while doing good into my job and into my life. I ended up landing on a really wonderful opportunity at IBM, decided to leave Microsoft, and now I run many, many different coding camps and hackathons. One of the flagship hackathons that I ran, and this is all about COVID-19 response, was partnering together with UNESCO in a program called Code the Curve. We also partnered with SAP, had about 10 different collaborators from Internet Society to a organization that has 30,000 CEOs in 130 different countries. It's called YPO, and a whole lot of other really amazing organizations where in 9 days we had 200 applications to join our hackathon. We selected 40 teams. We did a week of online learning, and it was all about data science skills. We laddered up into three themes. And again, it was all about fighting back against COVID-19. It was data and data sharing and information management, education or distance learning, access to education during COVID-19 and beyond, and then health and social issues. All teams had to have at least one male and one female to make sure that the teams were thinking about gender inclusivity. All teams had to have at least one person under the age of 25. And so this also encouraged youth engagement. So we were thinking about, how could different people from all over the earth, take part in this. And we selected 40 teams. Those 40 teams, I think 34, 35 ended up completing the entire hackathon, which included 20 hours of online learning. Of the 20 hours of online learning, again, it was data science, pitching, professional development, storytelling, ethics in AI, media literacy, media disinformation and misinformation, other types of hardcore tech skills. We brought in more than 100 mentors to help them through this online hackathon, and we did 3 days of hacking. We did pitch practice, and at the end, 167 people participated in the hackathon from 26 different countries. And we selected 3 winners. And I'm very excited that I have 2 of those winners with me today. What I'm also excited about is that one of those winners also went on to participate in another IBM hackathon. Fun fact, the other hackathon, Call for Code, Lady Gaga actually tweeted about this project. So we were kind of cool, for a bit on Twitter, seeing Lady Gaga talk about our project. Chelsea Clinton is the one who announced the winners. For any of you who are thinking about how do you empower and share your skills forward, don't just think about things as a point in time. What can you do to create self-sustaining solutions, or solutions that won't just be a point in time. That's often a big failure of many hackathons and coding camps. So with that, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to us today. And whatever your journeys are, and wherever your journeys might take you, stand up, do the thing, whatever that thing is. We're all experiencing new life and figuring out what this new life is. But continue to show up, continue to learn, and continue to do that thing, whatever it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much.